Tiểu đoàn 353 anh dũng ngày nào trong trận đường 6 Hòa Bình, giờ thuộc biên chế Trung đoàn Bộ binh 9, có nhiệm vụ dự bị cho chiến dịch Trần Đình, đóng ở vùng đệm giữa chiến trường chính Điện Biên và Hà Nội, tổ chức những trận đánh phá hoại cơ sở của giặc. Ngay từ những ngày đầu, pháo binh của ta đã loại bỏ khả năng cất cánh, hạ cánh của sân bay Mường Thanh và Hồng Cúm. Từ đó trở đi, các máy bay Pháp chỉ còn tiếp tế được cho tập đoàn cứ điểm bằng cách thả dù. Tôi được đơn vị cử
The music is very interesting, but I'm digging it.
làm nhiệm vụ đặc biệt quan trọng. Chỉ còn một trận này nữa sẽ được lên chiến đấu cùng các anh em trên đó.
Got the dramatic drums and everything, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Các tàu hỏa xuất phát cho ta một tiếng. Chắc giờ này đã vào vị trí rồi. Nhanh lên các đồng chí.
Okay.
Do you think that this guy's name is Ty, or do you think that he's just a Thai dude?
I'm gonna go and assume his name is Ty.
Đã sao chưa?
Oh, you've got a watch. Does that mean you're bin again?
Di chuyển theo lệnh của tôi.
I don't know. Trying to wait for
That's a watch.
Oh, I guess we're crawling. Stanch the thighs.
Real close to tie the Ty's thighs.
Mm. Assuming with these kinds of scenarios in games, as long as you just stick to the guy, you can't lose because he'll stop at the right time.
Hey Ty, looks like you got a little bit of Thai food on your shirt there. Would you like a Tide Pod?
Oof. What? What? I'm beside him.
You're too far to the right. Gotta stick between Ty's ties.
Alright.
Between ties, tight ties. I'm just turning into an Irishman now. Fuck.
I'm gonna stay right here, and we're gonna do this. Get close to the fence.
Becoming Irish.
There are worse things to become, I guess.
There are worse things to become. Like a French colony is the worst thing to become, which is why the Vietnamese don't want to be it anymore. You know what else is the worst thing to be? Is a hedge fund manager. I can't give financial advice, but I like the stock.
So many truths coming out in this podcast or video. Colonialism is bad.
Hard truths. We just call it like we see it here.
Yep. Hedge fund managers bad. Colonialism bad. Imperialism not so great.
What was that?
What?
We're taking the firm stance on communism. That one's a little bit. That one is a little bit.
I said colonialism.
Oh, colonialism. I thought you said communism. I was like,
Eh.
that's a controversial statement these days. Colonialism is bad though.
Di chuyển theo lệnh của tôi.
Here's a fun thing. There was a book that came out recently about how good apparently the British Empire was actually, and on the back of the book, the phrase 3 cheers for colonialism was on that back of that.
Who wrote that?
I don't remember. Some guy that works with PragerU.
Oh God.
Of course, yeah.
Because there's enough people in military history that it can lean towards that, and seeing the books that they come out with, some of them are a little on the troubling side. So, but if it's one of those PragerU guys, then like, whatever. That's, that's gonna be garbage from the second anyone says it. Oh, it's because was it because I was still crawling when he said to stop? Maybe.
You gotta stop immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. There was a bonus episode for Lions Led by Donkeys where they really dove into that, and it's just like, oh man, can't believe like people actually like think like this, Well, unfortunately, I can believe it, but I'm saying I can't believe it in the terms like I shouldn't have to believe that this is a real thing that people say.
It's too bad that some people tie their self-worth and image to this idea of what their people did in the past, and if we say colonialism is bad, they take that as a personal slight that this is something that we're saying that they did wrong, And that's not the right way to look at it, right? You can be proud of who you are without,
Sorry,
having.
I'm in Thai here. Hell. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you're right. Then we're doing something with the names being very similar every time.
But yeah, colonial, like, people, especially in the South, it seems like is a big thing. You know, like Southern heritage and everything. They're really clinging to that, and I think that's why, you know, when people say like, you know, the Confederate flag has some racist undertones to it. I don't know if you heard.
Fuck!
Like, oh, come on. You're almost there. You'll get them next time, though. You'll get them next time.
Yep, it's more time to talk about this.
Because, you know, I don't know what it is. People just really like to stick up for their ancestors, perhaps, or something. I don't know.
And it just fits into the, I don't know, the general over appreciation of military exploits that you see,
I'm not
right?
a sociologist. I just work here.
Like I know, visiting Portugal a lot as a kid, always seeing shelves. I don't know if it's still like that. It's been over a decade since I've been there, but seeing the shelves stacked with books about the very unpopular wars in Angola and Mozambique and the other Portuguese colonies, because there's that money having crowd that really wants to read these books of daring do and exploits of colonial soldiers, right?
Makes me feel better about the fact that they're inheriting blood money. Thurple says some of the South's BS with this kind of concept is, in his opinion, that the semi-feudal nature of life before the Civil War carries over to like the cultural remnants of that. You know, obviously there aren't a lot of like big plantations like there were back in the day or anything. There's no slave plantations in the U.S. anymore, unless we're counting, you know, prison labor, which
Yeah, I've heard that argument quite a bit.
pulling my collar a little bit. But you know, it's not so much that it's still intact now, but kind of the cultural remnant of it, because Reconstruction was stopped before it was finished. I wonder what your guy's name is in this one. I really want him to be like Ton. Serpil says he doesn't mean slavery, he means the poor whites being used in various servant cases to oppress black folks. Dang it, Joe!
God damn it. I look over at chat for 1 second and I have to stop.
I'll read chat for you, don't worry about it. And for the record, there, yeah, like, you know, they really did kind of, in the South, really gear up the poor white people to be on the side of the rich landowners, like saying, like, oh, you can't let these people, like, you can't let slaves be free because then they'll be as good as you. And, you know, back then everything was very, well, it was like a feudal system almost, so the idea of someone else being on your level and like not having anyone below you probably scared the shit out of a lot of them.
I mean, that's I know we're kind of veering away from this game in history, but like, isn't that part of how it works today, right? The idea that if you just you pull yourself up, you'll be rich like us, but the reality is an impossibility, right?
Sure. Well, I mean, yeah, it's so hard to do, but you know, that's why things like what happened today with the Robin Hood thing or the GameStop thing, you know, there's these rules in place to stop the average person from becoming rich and upsetting that balance.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Today just highlights the lie of you can be rich like us.
The lie of bootstraps. Bootstraps don't exist, both on boots and in society. But to tie it back to Vietnam, you know, I guess you could say a very similar thing about colonialism in general is because you see this in some cases, like, well, like in Canada, for example. It was a colony for such a long time, but because they were white, I guess, the British didn't have such a problem with them being almost equal citizens in the Stop!
I did.
Almost equal citizens in the Empire, you know?
It's different for to talk about settler colonialism in places and how they view the settlers.
Go on.
Right, there's a difference in empire between settler colonialism, where you're sending your people to be there, and these exploitation colonies. Because, like,
Sure.
the way they're not viewing mixed or Vietnamese people the same as they're viewing French living in Quebec back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's and the British are very much like that. There's a very different outlook for the settler colonial places like Canada, New Zealand, and Australia than the exploitation colonies in Africa and even to an extent what happened in India. So there's a... Oh my god, he fell to the floor. Did you see that? He's back.
Okay, Ty. Okay, Ty.
You doing alright, buddy? I don't want to do this again. Please don't glitch out.
Anyway, what was I saying?
Uh,
While he's in it, you probably have to like hit E or something.
yeah, they're just doing it for me.
Yeah, well, like a good case study of this is like in Haiti, for example, because in Haiti, you know, they had white settlers there, but they also had a very large black population at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So there, like, you know, the French, the white French actually also rebelled against the French government. It wasn't just, you know, a slave uprising as it is painted, because it did turn into that eventually. But that wasn't the whole thing. It's because even the white French there felt disenfranchised.
That's interesting.
So,
I don't know much about the Haitian Revolution.
I recommend Mike Duncan's Revolution series on it. It's not one of the longer ones, so it's kind of easy to get through. But it's probably one of the most easily accessible and palatable sources for it. Not that other sources are bad, but it's, you know, it's a podcast. Podcasts are easy to listen to.
Yeah. It might take some time because it's really fascinating to see that that's like they succeeded, right? And then the repercussions for succeeding.
Yeah, well, you know, but it is, as he points out, the kind of like the first true realization of what the American Revolution was supposed to be, because they talk about, oh yes, it's supposed to be, you know, equality for all men, but not women, and not for non-white people, and even then for not rich white landowners.
There's a time limit, but I can't move.
You'll probably be fine, I think.
Okay, I pressed E.
Press E for become a little bit taller and jump up.
I guess I'm just not really feeling the tension of this mission.
Well, you haven't even fought anyone yet. What is this gun that you have, by the way? It's like a Sten or Sterling ripoff. Typed something. I guarantee it's called a type something.
Yeah, it looks like one of those. Like that's these are the
Type 100. Let's calling my shot. Type 100. Let's see.
Can I melee this guy?
Walk up to press V for
Oh.
violence. E for eliminate. Yes. Good. So what? You're in here to like mess up their error. You're seeking for this top secret documentary, the forbidden Ken Burns film.
You know, I tried watching. Oh, is he already eliminated? Nope.
Press E to eliminate.
I
Sleep. Like, okay, whatever.
yeah, I guess I could have just left him alone.
It's a revolution. Who cares?
I tried watching the Ken Burns Vietnam documentary and I couldn't do it. I
Watch that one.
wasn't too into the like it was I guess maybe it might get better, but the first episode was very all about you know, the poor boys going over there and having to die in Vietnam. And I was like, well, can we hear the Vietnamese side of this more? But maybe if I gave it more time it'd be better, but I didn't.
Sure.
Didn't
I
last
don't know.
episode.
The Civil War one did a pretty good job about painting picture on both sides, even though one was objectively the bad one. So, you know.
Type 100. You're right.
Called it. From downtown Lester Brown.
What happened there?
Oh no!
All right, everybody.
You know what that might be?
What?
That's your ghillie suit thing.
Oh, cool. I don't have a hand, but cool. Yeah, it must be palm leaves. Are we just, wait, I'm in the danger zone. Why? Destroy the second hangar, okay. Are these guys our guys?
Maybe.
Dogs! I don't have any hands. No, stop dogs.
You know what this reminds me of is the desert long-range recon patrols that the British had, where they would just go into they would just drive out in jeeps and go mess up the German airfields and just drive between all the planes and shoot them with their guns.
Yeah, I mean, I remember reading, what was it, one of the first SAS, or SAS missions, the Special Air Service? And they just kind of found, like, an airfield, and they went there, and they were like, eating in the mess hall, and they just kind of kicked open the door and shot everybody, and they were like, yep, mission success.
Yeah, that rules. Like, the early British special operations stuff during World War II is, like, super cool because all of it is like that. Like,
Yeah.
you hear, like, oh yes, commando stuff, and it's like it's exactly what they did, you know?
Yeah, that was like my first taste of just like the brutality of what that is. Because like, you just kick open a door and shoot people eating their meal who are like engineers and whatnot. You know, not like
They're like Nazi engineers, though. They're not real people. Now, note to everyone: don't ever say that the enemy isn't real people because they are. But you know, they're Nazis, so like, you know, I'm not gonna. I'm not sure what the context for that last message you sent in was, Thurple, but it scares me.
oh, the game crashed.
All right, thanks for stopping in, everyone.
Hold up. I wonder where it checkpoints, and if I can get the stream to catch it again.
It was the Gillian. Oh, I see.
There we go. We're back.
Oh, I get you with the claw-looking thing. That looked very Dark Souls. That thing right there.
Trích hồi
You know, the
ký
little
Hoàng
flame
Đăng
animation.
Yeah.
Between,
Sau trận
yeah.
hòa bình, tôi
Alright,
rất
let's see if we
thương
can
một
skip
thời
this as soon as
gian
it gets
rồi
into
về
it.
lại đơn vị. Tiểu đoàn 353 anh dũng ngày nào trong trận đường 6 hòa bình, giờ thuộc biên chế trung đoàn bộ binh 9.
Nope.
Có
Come on.
nhiệm vụ dự bị cho chiến dịch Trần Đình,
It's gotta load.
đóng ở vùng đệm
I hope
giữa
it
chiến
doesn't make
trường
you crawl
chính
through the
Điện
field
Biên
again.
Oh god.
tổ chức
I hope not.
At least you know how to do it this time, which is just stop.
Covering team planting explosives. I think we're right
Okay.
here again. This is the same one, right?
Yeah, this looks like one of the hangars. Oh, you finished the first hangar, going to the second now, I see. Oh. You should take that. Just take that and shoot the planes with it.
Yeah. Oh.
Become the long-range desert recon patrols you want to see in the world.
Thanks. If I don't, he's gonna just keep
Oh,
using
you're
it.
just jumping into it.
Oh.
no!
And I blew it up.
Joe, you know, grenades and explosions are very dangerous.
Yep.
I want to point that out to you.
I've heard. Almost as dangerous as searchlights.
Yes.
And
Almost as dangerous as Frenchmen who have aimbot on.
yeah, they're quite accurate, aren't they? Okay. Do I have?
Very accurate. It's very surprising how well these Frenchmen are trained. If they were trained this well, I don't think they would have lost World War II at the start there, you know?
Yeah, it's funny you talk about that because that was something I was just. Oh crap! Where's that? I don't. Grenades always interrupting me. I was just reading a fun
Very dangerous, Joe.
series of tweets on the numbers of what the French were capable of, or what they actually were doing in the first bit of the war. And just because they lost eventually, it comes out as like, oh, they lost, right? But they were actually holding their own pretty well, considering.
Oh yeah, definitely. They just got unlucky, basically.
That's why.
Carrying, like, French armor at the time, because the Char B1 outclassed anything the Germans had at the time.
Yeah, it was a. Correct me if I'm wrong here. It was more like they weren't using tanks the way the Germans were, and the way the Germans were using it just kind of worked out better in practice.
I don't know super much about the period of time, but I think that's one of the factors. Another one of the factors is that the French didn't prepare correctly for the fact that the Germans would try to invade through Belgium again, which is, you know, hindsight is 20/20, but they had the 20/20 hindsight. They should have known better.
I thought they put some decent. I thought they put their worst guys on the
They did,
the
but it
Maginot
wasn't
line, but it wasn't enough.
enough. Yeah,
Hmm.
I mean, clearly it wasn't enough.
Yeah, good, they lost.
Yeah. One round. Get him, Joe.
All right.
I think you might just want to run for it, you know. Oh! Oh, You got him.
Got him.
Snapshot.
I don't know where to go. This guy. Oh, there's another door.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Wow.
Ooh. They were just struggling for like 2 minutes as you were in the other room, waiting to knock that guy out.
Where's Ben? He's got to watch this. Or nameless guy who I am with.
Whoever you are, yeah, I think you're Ben. That's a big plane. Oh, you are Ben.
Oh yeah? Is that what that said?
Yeah.
Good to know he's back. Oh, they're
follow
opening the
him.
door.
Follow him. Protect him. Something. I don't know. Maybe you should pick up one of their guns. Like, let one of them get close and then go grab the thing. Are you gonna fly the plane out of here? That would be awesome.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening. It just says protect, but he's not actually. He's just shooting the tire. You okay, buddy?
He hates it. Thurple pointed out that putting all the tank divisions along the Maginot was a mistake. Yes. And also, Poland lasted about the same amount of time in terms of, like, holdout time as when the Germans invaded France itself. But I do remember the French actually counter-invaded Germany for a bit, and that's something that not many people talk about.
Yeah,
That for a period of a few weeks, the French were just like, screw this, and they invaded Germany. Which, I gotta say, considering everything that happened afterwards, is pretty awesome. You're just out of ammo entirely. Good lord.
Yeah.
Just go protect them. Just go stand in front of them and catch those bullets with your face.
I'm coming, guys. I mean, it's not like Poland was a pushover either, right? Poland put up a good fight.
Like, Polish fought really well, all things considered. They just didn't have the material or the...
Yeah, just because they're losing, you lose to the, the massive invasion force. The Wehrmacht doesn't mean you're terrible at all this stuff.
Yeah, well, the Wehrmacht and the Red Army simultaneously.
Yes.
Don't forget, because the Soviets are, well, I shouldn't say the Soviets, they're not the Soviets anymore. The Russians are trying to create the narrative again. I don't know if you saw this. Their embassies are trying to push the narrative that the Soviets did not invade Poland during
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, that Putin written document about how they were just moving in to protect everybody.
Yeah, maybe we should do another episode on the myth of the clean Red Army to really just, in case there's any tankies that listen to us, to sort them out also.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's enough of that. We can get Commissar Hedgehog on to come and talk to us because he knows his stuff pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I can't even participate anymore. I'm just along for the ride. Can I just have the? Oh, look, a gun. Now I can play.
There's an MP40 back there also.
Yeah, but doesn't that blind you? Like, I'm not gonna. I don't wanna. Oh, that's tie.
Can't blind me. I'll just not look for the next half hour.
Oh no.
Well, Putin does a lot of gross things. I didn't know if you knew this, Thurple, but Putin is a little problematic. As the kids these days say. I'm gonna make a call-out post for Vladimir Putin. Because he's being just a little bit problematic, a little bit sus on Maine, and I don't care for it very much.
You don't live on the second floor or anything, do you?
Oh god. No. Well, yes. Uh-oh.
Yeah, that sucked. Yeah, the official statement last year was trying to rewrite the war's narrative to say that the Russians were not only always the good guys, but their invasion of Poland was actively in opposition to Hitler and to save the Polish people. Which is just... ugh. But yeah, the death of history, right? You gotta have the revisionism run rampant, and was it the post-truth world? People can just say whatever they want.
Yeah. I guess it really is the end of history in many ways.
It's the end of historical funding. That's right. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about the end of historical funding. Mr. College Man here, I'm not currently in it. You can talk more about that than I can.
that a lot of universities are cutting down on arts funding because it's not
Yeah.
fancy, and
Well,
because
cool, too.
the way things were structured. Hey, a bar. COVID kind of took something that's happening slowly and made it happen very fast.
Yeah.
So the you're seeing a lot less jobs for history and other related disciplines. This is part of the commodification of not.
Well, you know, maybe you should just learn to code.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, here we are. I'm doing this.
Okay.
I will teach history to the masses if I have to do it by playing video games.
Have to.
Yeah. No, and part of it is just a systemic issue with how the wider academic world. No, stop. I'm right here. I'm right here, guys. Deals with, outreach and stuff, right?
Purple says learn to stimmy check. Yeah, I agree. What we're doing is basically outreach for every university's history program.
Well, I mean, it's an important part, right? And I know a lot of good historians that are trying to do this, that are taking the time to actually engage with these methods of historical. God, it's hard to talk when I'm being shot from like 15 different directions.
No, that's fine.
A lot of historians are realizing that this is one of the major ways people are getting their information these days, or getting their access to historical everything.
Yeah.
So they're bringing it up with film and
Video games.
novels and whatnot. Everyone that they need to understand that video games are part of this. Because not this game in particular, but this game tells us a lot about Vietnam. But I mean, with a fun example is like Battlefield 1, right? That's a popular game. That game was big when it came out.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna do the thing where people rag on it for having historical inaccuracies, because sure, it's Battlefield has historical inaccuracies. But the problem is, for me, that they fundamentally structured the narrative in the familiar, like, World War II kind of way, where the Germans were the bad guys. God damn it, where am I supposed to go?
I think you're supposed to go through the door you went through. Yeah, that way.
This one, okay.
Yeah, and then take a left.
Just there's a blank wall here.
No.
I just fell over.
Oh. Ah.
I bled out. Alright, move back. Okay, at least it's saved here. I'm just gonna go on right now.
Watch where he goes.
Okay, just around the building this way. What? Nothing hit me that time.
Be more careful about following him?
Yes. Okay, duck in here for a bit and lie down. Okay, I think it's a time limit thing. I'll just die if I don't get to wherever they want me to get to right away.
Interesting.
Okay, I'm leading the way this time. I know where you went. You went this way. Okay. Huh. What direction do I think I have to go to?
Follow his footsteps like, exactly.
Oh, he's going in here. Stop. Shoot me in the back. Wait. Did he go upstairs?
He did.
Okay. Alright, here we go. Right, what was I saying? Battlefield 1. They have single player story missions.
Battlefield 1.
But they center the narrative around, the Entente and portray the Germans as Nazis, basically. Like, you don't see...
Fewer steps. Nazis with fewer steps, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a problem, because the First World War had very different, political and social issues at stake, and then by cheaping out for an easy Germans are Nazis and Entente being, American and British in that first release, just simplifies and horribly misconstrues it, right? Like, I don't care that there's a level where you wear armor and carry a machine gun.
Here.
I think it's all the explosives we planted. I think you gotta be further away than that, buddy.
Not quite far enough. Oh, okay.
We did it.
Hooray! Vietnam is saved. Now nothing bad ever happens to them ever again.
Till the next mission.
Yeah, until constantly for the rest of the 20th century.
Đợt tiến công thứ hai bắt đầu vào ngày 30
Yeah, we're getting close now, aren't we?
và kéo dài đến giữa tháng 4.
Because I think
Mục
it's
tiêu
supposed
của
to
quân
be,
ta đánh chiếm các ngọn đồi phía đông và các
7554
cứ điểm phía
refers to
tây sân
the
bay Mường
date.
Thanh.
Yep.
Siết
So
chặt
that's
vòng
May
vây,
5th, I think?
tạo thế trận cho tổng thống.
Yes. Yes.
So you're almost there. Going
Phân
into
khu trung
April
tâm
now.
của địch vẫn còn 4 trung tâm đề kháng gồm trên 30 cứ điểm liên kết chặt chẽ với
Yeah.
nhau.
So
Đây là giai
Battlefield 1.
đoạn khốc liệt nhất của chiến dịch với những cuộc chiến
Not good.
trường
I'll continue when the epic rock music is over.
dưới mặt đất và trên bầu trời. Khi là trận táp lá cà này lúc là đối thủ căng thẳng hoặc chiến hào.
Maybe. Right, so that was a problem to me. And it was a problem that they started Battlefield 1 with a very... Like, they wanted to make the French DLC, right? So there was no French in the launch of Battlefield 1. And that works for a vague understanding of the Second World War in 44, where you have a Anglo-American fighting Germans, but it doesn't work to understand how the First World War played out. So like you see these massive missteps with these big productions that if they were more cognizant of what they were doing, or if they had a historian on staff, then it might be useful as a learning tool. And it doesn't have to be like historically accurate. That's not the thing that's bogging me. It's the authenticity that they're trying to build doesn't work.
Yeah, and I see that. I see kind of like a weirdly similar narrative actually when it comes to Napoleon and the Napoleonic Wars.
Oh, yeah?
That like Napoleon is like this big evil autocrat who is like subjugating all the free peoples of Europe when literally every other country in Europe at the time was also a monarchy. And like, you know, I was seeing all these things like, oh, he was preserving the Entente, well, the Allies preserved freedom for Europe, and it's like, what freedom? Like, everyone was, like, I mean, yeah, the French had an emperor at the time, but it was also, like, some of the most, I would say, they had some of the most civil liberties of any people at the time, like, you know? It's just funny that that's how it shook out.
And it shook out like that because we get a British narrative, right? We inherit a British understanding, and they were the enemies.
Freaking British.
Like
That's the reason we can talk poorly about the English in this playthrough here.
but I mean that's why it's just that is the inherited ooh, nice historical understanding, right? It's one of the reasons why you see Roman legions wearing red all the time, right? That's a British colonial holdover in film.
I did not know that. That's interesting.
Yeah, because like the legions weren't. Well, this looks like I could mess up very quickly.
Oh boy.
Find the explosive charge.
Try going prone, or then you could find the explosive charge. Go back. I don't think you were supposed to do that.
It was working. I'll just.
Sprint
Oh,
cover, just sprint.
there it is. It's just sitting on the floor.
They're like, you do it.
But yeah, similarly, like this game we're playing is about, you know, this is from the Vietnamese perspective, but 99% of the media that anyone's going to be consuming about the Vietnam War is going to be from an American point of view.
Yeah. Well, this isn't about the quote-unquote Vietnam War. This is about, you know, the War of Independence.
Yes, this is the French War, sorry, because it's always the Vietnam War if Vietnam's involved.
Yeah. I don't even know of any media about the Vietnam War from the Vietnamese perspective, you know? Like, we don't see any of that.
And off the top of my head, I don't know. Because it's just not something that they want to like. Even when they're talking negatively about the American, experiment in Vietnam, it's still very much from an American point of view, and you're seeing it from the point of view of people who are participating on the American side and disgruntled about it.
Yeah. The closest we get is like, I don't know, Good Morning Vietnam, because like he hangs out with some VC guys. And we don't see anything from the Vietnamese perspective.
I think
I don't
it's.
know. I'd be interested to watch like a movie or something from the Vietnamese perspective about the Vietnam War. It would probably be horribly depressing, but
Yeah.
so is most history.
Actually, that's a segues into. Oh God. Okay. I'm just. Every time I try and talk.
Go back!
So talking about media from places that were normally dominated by American or Western media, there is on Netflix for a while a Korean movie about the Korean War, but it was about the intelligence gathering that happened to precipitate the landing at Incheon, because for our lovely viewers, the the Korean War, the 1950-53 Korean War, turned around when the U.S. Marines landed at Incheon and cut off the North Korean army, forcing them to retreat. But that was a very long and complicated intelligence gathering operation to learn like how they were mining the bay and the tides and all that fun stuff. And in reality, that was done by I think an American man who was kind of hanging out on some of the islands with he had some help from Koreans on the mainland. And this movie reframes the entire thing as a purely Korean operation. So I thought it was fascinating. It was one of the first times I've seen that thing that you see in Western media all the time, where they're, getting rid of the actual historical figure and replacing them with a nationalistically more understandable figure. Only this time from a Korean point of view. So instead of having the whitewashing, you're having a Korean washing of of the event. It was a fun movie. It's called Operation Chromite. And Liam Neeson is MacArthur, so there's that.
That's fun. That's fun. I like that. Serpil said, okay, so for a little bit of background on this, are you familiar with... Okay. So there are Khmer Rouge Discord servers.
I'm sorry, what?
There are Khmer Rouge Discord servers.
Okay.
Yes, I am making a very long story short here. And basically, a server that Thurple and I are both in, we heard about this. We were like, let's go in this and see what they're about. And you had to pass purity tests to try to get in there. To
Wow.
Yeah, we couldn't get past the introduction panel. I was like, oh, I haven't heard of Pol Pot before. I've heard of him, but I don't think it's as bad. I think that was just Western propaganda. They kicked me. They didn't let me in. Same thing happened to Purple too. But we tried to get in, and that turned into a whole thing because we just so interested. We want to see what these people are about. What is going on in the mind of a person that thinks this is fine or whatever. But to get to the end of this point is that Thurple has been doing some further work to try to get into these servers, and he asked them for sources on the Vietnam War from Vietnamese perspectives, and the Khmer Rouge people were not helpful, apparently.
I bet you get a lot of overlap, depending on where these people are from, with the anti-vax types, because you have this idea that you've uncovered some secret.
The same thing, though.
Sorry?
I feel like it's the opposite end of extremists in the same at the end of the same spectrum. It's the horseshoe theory.
Oh yeah, that's mean that it appeals to an idea that you've fixed. You've figured something out that everyone else hasn't.
Yeah. Screw that barrel.
We did it. Oh. No, comrade. I just mean to think that the Khmer Rouge are okay Now, okay, so I've heard people who are upset about the Vietnamese occupation because they were also bad after the Khmer Rouge, right? There was an occupying force, and I know some Khmer people who have spoken out against that, but they were not fans of Khmer Rouge, obviously, for very, very obvious reasons. Am I Vin now? I'm Vin. Okay. So I wonder if the nuance of, you know, we're not happy with what happened before or after is related in any way to these people who are misguidedly thinking the Khmer Rouge had anything right to say.
Yeah.
And misinformation is always
The hell of
rampant. Yeah. Oh boy. I'm gonna hide for a bit. But I mean, similarly, I've encountered people who want to bring back Manchukuo as a state. There's a Manchukuan, you know, independence movement.
Where do you find these people? I'm interested about that. Like, the Khmer Rouge thing, like, was already very surprising to me, but Manchukuo? They want Manchukuo?
Yeah, it was on Twitter, and they're like a real thing. But I wonder if like how much they're obviously conflating freedom from the CCP for Manchuria with the I can't press G right now. For the only time it wasn't, you know, under Chinese control in recent memory, which is the Japanese occupation. But that was obviously not a good time for the native people of Manchukuo. And the fact that when I see these things, they are tied to pretty terrible revisionism of what the Japanese did, right? They are firmly in the camp that everything that people say about the Japanese army is a lie, which of course is demonstrably false.
You're right. Behind those bodies. You gotta shoot through the bodies. On
Yeah. Oh, there's a tank. High tank. There's an explosive back here. There. Let me pick it up. Please. Okay.
Switch to a weapon, I think.
Oh, come on. Oh, it wouldn't let me out the door. I'm still alive.
Gotta learn to get less tall. Maybe you can't just pick it up. I don't know.
Oh, now it's I got to kill one more guy. Comrade, you had one job.
Oh, he's dead now, so you know.
Okay. Oh, hi. Did that not work? I lost control. I lost control. It like it failed to. Just let me pick this up so I'm ready. This can't.
Instant explosions are very dangerous. It's going to be our new podcast. We're gonna change our name to that.
They'll be on our first shirt.
Grenades and explosions are very dangerous.
Alright, let's try this again.
That is not an LMG. An M2 Browning is not an LMG. This is where I draw the line. No. This is an heavy machine gun.
It's an LMG if you're really strong like Vin is here.
Is Vin the guy that blew himself up with the lunch mine but survived?
I think it is.
Oh, yeah, he is very strong.
Trying to not overheat this time. Yeah, but these revision movements, like it falls to me in the same places like Holocaust denial, right? It's this intoxicating allure of having figured out something that everyone else is getting wrong, and only you know the secrets. And the people who push this shit for their own reasons, they do that, right? Like they try and make that the feeling that people get. So the easily swayed, to put it charitably, fall for it. Okay, I can't throw this back, so I'm gonna run over here. I'm gonna go back.
I think if you pop off the machine gun but press G, you can do it.
I'll try that next time.
Yeah.
Because it's just gonna happen again.
Thurple says, hey, if you beat two great powers and one superpower, anything is an LMG.
Yeah, see? That's the right attitude.
I guess because the tank goes to the side, you don't get the Kazuki hit anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, get off the gun! Get off the gun! Or not, I guess. I thought the tank was gonna kill you.
Yeah, it seems like I got hit, but I was alright.
Well, well, you saw it coming, so you were able to like brace for it, like like me being able to take a punch. You know, as long as you're able to prepare for it, you're fine.
Okay, here we go.
Like, just strengthen your core, and you'll be able to thwart that tank. Look, Joe.
Yes.
Grenades and explosion, very dangerous. Run away.
Oh, come on! I hit it twice. I hit it twice. Oh no, that was fine. That's supposed to happen. Okay. I can never tell anymore.
Are very dangerous. Not to like take, I guess, devil's advocate in this war or whatever, but imagine how much it would suck to be like a French soldier during this period.
Oh yeah, I mean, no, and we can definitely talk about both sides in these conflicts. There's nothing wrong with that ever. I mean, do it all the time, right? When you're studying historical
I guess
events.
that's fair. I don't know. I just don't want to empathize too much with colonial soldiers.